Welcome to this informational meeting in anticipation of Australian ballot in lieu of town meeting to be conducted on Tuesday next. My name is David Williams. I'm town moderator. The select board as presently constituted, the chair is Eric Osgood, Nat Kinney, Mike Dunham, Evan Patch, and Beth Foy. And I'm not sure, do we have everyone in on that, or are there some who are not here?
Evan isn't here. Nat has dialed in.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask Eric in a couple of minutes to make some introductory remarks. We've agreed that he's not going to go through the line by line of the report, the town report, but he and the other board members will be open to question. Brian Story is our webmaster, and he is going to explain to us, for those who may not know, how to participate in this forum. And then we'll go back up to Eric and let him have a few remarks, and then we'll open it up to questions and comments. Brian?
All right. So thanks everybody for joining us again today. Same process as last time. If you have a question or comment about any item, please raise your hand using the Zoom controls. If you're on a computer, it'll be along the bottom of your screen. If you're on a phone, it is *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute yourself. You won't be able to unmute yourself during the meeting. I'll have to grant you that permission so that we can be respectful of our recognized speakers. Same with the chat function. Chat is generally disabled, but you can reach me directly if you do have comments or concerns, or if your microphone isn't working, you have a question that you need to get out. You can also reach me that way. We are broadcasting the meeting on YouTube. I don't know if we've got any users who are experiencing it there, but if you are on YouTube watching the meeting, you won't have any way to interact with us through that avenue. I think that covers pretty much all the ground rules. I don't have anybody in the meeting room in person, other than I'd like to thank Tim from GMATV for coming and assisting. But Tim, I think you're a voter of Eden, so not a Johnson voter. All right.
All right.
That's everything.
Okay, then I'll turn it around and send it back to Eric for some opening remarks.
And first of all, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome everyone back. As I went through in the first informational meeting, really talking to all of the accomplishments of different folks, I'm not going to do that again. I would just like to publicly thank Mike Dunham and Nat Kinney for their service. They've served a number of years on the select board. Wish them well in their future endeavors. And I would just mention, although I went through their accomplishments, the ones that were recognized in the town report, we got 2 dedications: Ann Cummings, who worked for the town for a number of years, and our moderator, Dave Williams. And I wanted to congratulate them again for their service to the community, as well as acknowledge Carl Powden, who was in the town report is in memory of, and his accomplishments and contributions to the community, and sorry for the loss. And that's about as brief I'm going to be today because of we went through it at the last informational meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to pose well, let's go at this the way we did in the last meeting by following the articles as they appear in the town report, starting with Article 3, which relates to Cheryl Johnson withdraw from Vermont North Modified Unified Union School District. Are there any questions or comments with regard to Article 3?
I think now might be a good time to kind of interject the open question that was raised at our last meeting was, what did this mean for, the general recognition was that the intent was to leave the K through 6 portion of the school district and remain in the middle and high school. The advice from our attorney is that this article would not do that. This article would leave the entire, pre-K to 12 school district. But our attorney also gives us the advice that it would not be possible to craft an article that would leave only part of the school district. The school district is an entity that governs pre-K through 12. So if we're leaving it, we're leaving the whole thing. That said, we could negotiate as part of the leaving that we would rejoin the middle and high school portions. So the door isn't closed on that, but that there is no motion that we could, or no article that we could craft that would accomplish exactly what was requested. It will have to come up during the negotiated process of leaving the school district. Walter, I hope that answers your questions and anybody else who's interested. So now I guess we'll open it up for more general discussion. Okay, I see Walter. All right, go ahead, Walter.
Thank you. And thank you, folks, for getting clarity on this item. I'm not going to say a whole lot more than I said the last meeting. If people want to get all my comments, they can review the last meeting. Based on what the attorney has said, I'm just going to leave it to the voters. We didn't ask them about 58B before, so the voters have the opportunity now to weigh in on the total question for, do we stay in the union or do we not stay in the union? I've stated my opinion that I don't think the union is doing us any favors and it is costing us money. So at this point, I'm just going to leave it to the voters and the voters will decide on Tuesday.
Thank you, Walter. Do we have any other comments or questions? I'm not seeing any.
Okay, no calls.
No, I think our phone calls got disconnected. No, here's an iPhone connecting, so we'll give them a second before I repeat the controls. So if you have comments or questions, again, we're on Article 3, the school merger, and you're on the telephone, the controls are *6 to unmute and *9 to raise your hand. So you start with a *9, and then when I ask you to unmute, use the *6. All right, I'm not seeing any questions still.
Okay. In that case, we'll move on to Article 4, which is basically a restatement of how we collect taxes in the town and penalties and interest for late payments. Are there any comments on Article 4?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, I didn't think that was an article that would raise a great deal of interest. But no, we can move on to 5. Shall the voters authorize total fund expenditures for operating expenses of $3,264,151.50, of which $1,974,332.32 shall be raised by taxes, and $1,289,819.18 by non-tax revenues. Any comments on Article 5 or questions?
Okay, Diana, go ahead.
Before I left to go hike the Appalachian Trail last year, I was involved with the Law Enforcement Review Committee, and we collected some information about our current situation. And then I had to leave for 7 months. And I just got to be honest, when I was on the trail, I didn't have an opportunity to really follow up on that situation very well. And yet I'm still highly interested in the topic, especially because as I look through this town report, I noticed that really the sheriff's budget is the single biggest line item in our budget. I mean, if you put all the roads and construction or roads and maintenance equipment all together, it comes up to more. But for a single line, my read was that the sheriff's department and then the dispatch on top of that is a really big expenditure. And I just don't feel like that situation has been studied and analyzed, or if it was during the time I was hiking, I sure didn't see any results on that. And I know the committee suddenly disbanded when the chair quit. And so I just wonder what the follow-up is on that line item.
Dave, why don't I take that one? Thank you, Diana, for asking it. You have not seen the results of it because it is an ongoing committee participation. The 3 towns, Johnson, Hyde Park, and Wolcott, did select some individual select board members from each of the communities that are continuing to meet and have those discussions with Roger. I'm not able to talk to where the discussions are because I'm not on the committee. I know Nat, and I believe Beth, were you on the committee as well? Yeah, you can probably fill in some information on that. You are correct. It is one of our most expensive, or it is our most expensive single line item. And there is no doubt that goes across most communities. Public safety is very expensive, and it is a choice of the people whether they want that service or are willing to take their chances without it. Johnson has historically opted to have the public safety, but they are looking at different options. So with that, if Beth wants to add anything, I would welcome that. Or if Nat has made it back on the Zoom, I would welcome input from either one of them.
Yeah, here, but Diana, I'll just tell you, I have a similar reaction every time I see that line item. I think it's the right word because it is a lot of money. We have met a number of times and discussed a couple of different things, one being a number of different items that came out of your report, actually. And one of those items was the budget for this year, and collectively the towns had agreed with the sheriff's department to keep the 3% for this year. We will need to dig in further on how we handle budget in following years. So there is certainly a lot of activity that needs to occur around that. Just thinking about what is confidential and what isn't, because some of this would fall into a executive session discussion, I think. But there's other activities that we're looking at in terms of how we interact with the police department. And I think Eric explained it well when he said that the town has chosen over the years to have 24/7 coverage. And if the town wants to change that, I think we need to have a dialogue around it. I think that there are pros and cons, and I think that there are differing opinions. So we basically concluded that we will continue to work together across the multiple towns. At this point, we have chair members from each town having some of those discussions. So it's probably not the details you wanted to hear, but that's where we left it at the end of the year.
Thank you. Mostly I was just interested in hearing anything.
Well, there you go.
The wish is fulfilled. Any other comments on Article 5?
I think pretty much everybody was here the first time. Stacy or Neil, if you weren't here and would like us to go over the budget in more detail, we can. I don't remember if you were here for that part of the discussion earlier this week or not. But not seeing any other comment, but I think we're going on the assumption that people have heard kind of everything we have to say already, and they're satisfied with it.
Well, in the absence of a hand or a phone call,
Yeah,
I think we can probably move on to Article 6 unless there is a hand that shows up. You can always go back if need be. But we'll go to Article 6. Shall the voters authorize the town of Johnson to raise, appropriate, and expend up to $40,000 for the purpose of community and economic development? Question or comment?
okay. Diana,
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm the only person speaking here, but my husband's listening in. He's in the room. I'm speaking just for myself, however, though, when I say that I think that this is a necessary expenditure at this time. The last big development project that we had on Main Street resulted in the street looking a little bit better, but my business, along with many others, were basically forced out of town. All the construction, all the lack of support from the town government, just one problem after another made it really hard to be a business person on Main Street in town. The other ongoing frustration I have is my internet situation, which is so insufficient that many people around the world in third world and developing nations have better internet than I do. And I think asking people to come to town to start a business here or develop our economy when our infrastructure, our internet, and the things currently available to the businesses that have tried to be here in the past is just so lacking, is a bad expenditure of money at this time.
thank you, Diana.
Is there a response?
I think I heard she had support for it, and some of the reasons why, and unless there was a question in there, I think I missed it. But
Okay, any further questions or comments with regard to Article 6?
Beth,
Thanks, Brian. Diana, I think, I don't know if you were able to watch the recording of the prior informational meeting or not, but in there, Eric talked a little bit about the economic developer building foundational plans for grant money that could come our way over time. And while I hear and totally support you on the internet topic, very much support you on the internet topic. My personal opinion, not my board opinion, my personal opinion is that an economic developer could really help facilitate pushing some of that forward quickly While I understand your area doesn't have internet, there are areas within Johnson that do have high-speed internet available, that do have the infrastructure to support business speed. While it's unfortunate other areas don't. So I just do want to recognize your pain. I understand and feel for you truly. And I agree we need to fix that. And also, I think that it doesn't hurt to have to spend money to set us up so that we can quickly and effectively apply for big grants that can further our town's both future and current needs.
Thank you, Beth. Are there any other comments or questions? I'm not seeing any.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think this will conclude the informational meeting. Wish you all well on Tuesday, and hope that if you haven't voted already, you make sure that you do, and you poke a few of your neighbors and see if you can get them to participate as well. And I think most of us are hopeful that a year from now, we will not be meeting in this format. Anything else that anyone has to offer?
I see Beth.
Thanks again. I just want to throw out there that the prior informational meeting, there was a lot of discussion about a number of topics, including the economic developer and the leaving the district, which we've clarified some of that discussion, but Eric also talked through some budget lines in detail. And I just wanted to throw that out there because it may be helpful to folks who are watching this later, whether they watch it on YouTube streaming or are watching it on YouTube right now. I saw there were 2 viewers, one of which is Diana's husband. But I did want to just share that information as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diana.
That was basically my question. The reason I'm tuned in here
Okay.
today, because I couldn't be at the other meeting. And so to hear that I missed all the juicy stuff then, and then that left me wanting to know, well, how can I catch up? And so I will go look for it on YouTube.
Thank you, Diana. I'm glad that we were able to answer some of your questions directly. If it wasn't for you being here and asking your questions, we would have had kind of a sorry meeting. So thank you for participating.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, Diana, I would just add that that prior information meeting that Beth is referring to was probably done more in the sense of how a traditional town meeting is. We went through every article and a lot of discussion was made on each of them. It'd be more informative to view that.
And I see Neil.
Do you have the link for the prior meeting on YouTube? Kate's looking for it now and can't find it.
Tim, can you? That's going to go up in the chat in just a second.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Beth?
You can look for the Town of Johnson in GMATV, Vermont television access. But GMATV is where you can find a whole bunch of really great, actually not just Johnson, or a lot of really great Lamoille County information.
Thanks.
All right. I guess as long as I've got a second, also keep an eye out on our social media for some more information on the fundraiser that the 6th grade class is conducting this year. They normally conduct a fundraiser by selling lunch and other goodies at town meeting. So they're having to get creative this year with some of their fundraising, and I'll be putting out some promotional material for that. So keep an eye out on what you can do to help support the 6th grade class. All right, and the link is in the chat for the YouTube link for the original informational meeting.
Brian, does Neil have his hand up again, or is that from before?
I will ask. I didn't look. No, okay. All right, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, I think that's it.
That is it. Thank you all for participating, and see you next town meeting, if not before.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Goodbye, everyone.
Take care.